And now let's talk about the cherry on the top. You showed me something that was really hard to believe. Just tell the viewers what it is.
So essentially, it's the unban account tool. Uh, it's we are the only ones who have the tool.
I promised you that part 2 would be worth it, and here it is. So instead of reading another boring Reddit story article or going through another suspicious video about cheaters, I decided to go directly to its source. And so everybody, please meet Keni. Keni is probably one of the most known cheaters in the world as of right now, and he's been in the cheating industry now for years. He has been one of the first people that developed cheats for ARC raiders, and Keni was single-handedly responsible for stream sniping the biggest streamers in the game as of right now. People like the Burnt Peanut.
Is there cheaters?
I was gonna say.
Come with us, Peter. Come with us. You gotta loot. You gotta loot. You need to goop. You need to goop.
Hatch, Summit, Ninja.
You need to cater in this sense of stream sniping rage hackers. There needs to be someone at Embark Studios watching, being like, oh, the 10th guy in a row, 15 games, game ban on record. Let's ban him.
And other streamers that basically gave ARC raiders the biggest visibility. And also, he might be the single person most responsible for these people leaving the game. They were getting stream sniped and cheated and repeatedly killed. And I've decided to interview him, and I've decided to go through the cheats together. And during our conversation with Keni, we spoke openly about the cheat development, all of the factors around cheats, all of the factors around community, and not only that, we also spoke about Embark, because I promise to you, you will be very surprised about what you will hear in this video.
I discovered these vulnerabilities. I did send Embark an email letting them know and how I bypassed it. I remember I received first an AI automated response from the team, and then after like 2 weeks, one of the team members, I believe it was from the development team, responded and essentially just closed the ticket.
And what you heard at the beginning, that the $20 tool can reverse your ban on ARC raiders, I promise to you there's gonna be much more ridiculous things in this interview that you won't believe yourself. Today, I'm joined by Keni. I want to put all opinions aside and simply understand how this world works. Who are the people behind these communities? And why do they do it? How does the business operate? And what does someone like Keni actually think about current state of ARC raiders? And maybe he will tell us more about Embark, about anti-cheat, and about the whole cheating world. So first of all, Keni, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And for people who have never heard of you before, could you give us a quick introduction? Who are you? How did you get involved in the ARC raiders cheating scene? And why did targeting streamers become such a big part of what you do?
So essentially, as you introduced me, my name is Keni. A lot of people who watch streamers on Twitch will essentially heard of me. So I started stream sniping on October 30th of last year, which is the release of the game. I developed cheats a week after the release of the game. I was essentially the first cheater in Arc Raiders. I started cheating literally as soon as the game was released. I started doing it for fun, as I always like to tell people who like ask me similar questions. Everyone has an outlet in gaming. Some people like playing games for the social aspect. Some people like playing it for the competitive side. Everyone plays games for different reasons, and I play games to have fun, and my sort of fun is essentially cheating, as sad as that sounds. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the introduction. I will play probably some clips of you hunting down the streamers, because I think that was a big part of basically you, your persona, and your business, right? So we could say that by doing that, you brought your customers to your business, right?
Yeah, completely, 100%. Yeah. Completely.
Before sort of like this whole cheating war, or how to call it, there was like an outbreak of cheats. You discovered yourself that there was like a security gap in the code from Embark side within the anti-cheat, and you told me that you tried to contact them to have it fixed first before the cheaters took over. So maybe can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so essentially when I first got the game on October 30th, which was the official release, I played the game, I looked at the mechanics, I looked into the anti-cheat. When it was released, it only had easy anti-cheat. Obviously, Any Brain was released in December, a couple of months after the official release, which was like AI detection for hit registry for consecutive headshots or consecutive bone, which is like the chest or the torso or the legs. So it's just like it was an AI looking at sort of aimbot settings. But initially, when the game was released, I looked into reverse engineering and I saw that you could reverse engineer just ESP. I was using an external aimbot at the time, and obviously aimbot wasn't detected because they didn't have any brain anti-cheat. The easy anti-cheat was essentially just a sort of plaster on the wound, if you would like to put it into that sort of analogy. It wasn't really like doing much as an anti-cheat. So I discovered these vulnerabilities, and I did send Embark an email letting them know and how I bypassed it. I remember I received first an AI automated response from the team, and then after like 2 weeks, one of the team members, I believe it was from the development team, responded and essentially just closed the ticket. So I'm not sure if they were trying to pretend like it didn't exist, or they weren't concerned, or they didn't care. But their stance was pretty clear. So after I let them know that, I obviously had already developed the first cheat for Arc Raiders and had launched it. And I was, starting developing, outsourcing,
Right.
started providing it. Yeah.
So, because, at the end of the day, that's something that you would have to deal with, and I would have to deal with if we release the video. A lot of people will blame you for, let's say, killing the game with the cheats and stuff like that. But again, taking a step back here, then that means that you really tried to contact Embark. You tried to let them know that there's a huge security gap within their code, that something bad is happening, and they just didn't listen, right?
Mhm. That's correct. And I think if we were to look at the bigger picture in all of this, had I not done it, someone else would have done it. It's a game of cat and mouse in the gaming industry. Whenever there's a popular game that's released, there's always going to be cheats for it. Like, look at any video game, there is a cheat for it. It's just part of the package.
After all this, the war with Embark started, the war with players, with streamers, and everything. So we talked about you trying to reach out to Embark. Have they ever tried to contact you afterwards?
No, they have not.
Okay,
In
so they obviously knew that something is happening in the background. You and your community, you are the biggest developer of the cheats in Arc Raiders. Why do you think, or do you believe that there's something behind this like business practice that they didn't reach out? Do they not want to fix their anti-cheat, or do they simply just rely on the tools they have? Or maybe simply they don't have money, the anti-cheat is more expensive. Why do you think they never tried to reach out to you?
I think one of two things which a lot of gaming studios do when they become popular or make a lot of money. The first thing is they try to ignore the 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 problem. So they try and pretend like it doesn't exist and hope that it goes away, which is never the case. If anything, it makes the problem worse. I think the second thing is, and we noticed this from Embark Studios overall from their previous games that they've made, is that once they've made a set amount or they've made more money that they've invested, they collect the money and they move on to the next project, which is the case now. Embark Studios is releasing two new games in 2027 that they're currently developing. So their stance on Arc Raiders essentially is they're not putting a lot of time, effort, or money in resources in trying to maintain the game because it's essentially a finished product. They're only adding a few updates. I think it's twice a year, as they said in their patch notes. I think the third reason being is that um, you could say that they are quite cheap in terms of their anti-cheat. Like they brought AnyBrain AI and Denuvo. Denuvo was used essentially beforehand, not really in any other mainstream game. It was used in a fishing game as a sort of anti-cheat.
No way.
Um, yeah, so it's not really an anti-cheat that's used overall in like big shooter extraction games, and they opted out on like any brain AI, which is another very cheap option for a studio that made hundreds of millions of dollars.
So, what would be your message to the viewers, to the people who believe that Embark is doing their best job to keep cheaters away from the game? Would you confirm? Would you deny this claim?
I mean, realistically speaking, Um, their anti-cheat systems are like one of the worst I've ever seen in a video game. The fact that they give you three chances of being banned before they actually permanently banned you. The fact that the report system in game, I'm not going to confirm this, but because I don't really have a lot of evidence and I don't want to say something without having so much evidence, but I genuinely believe that the report system in the game, even though that they've recently added a sort of generated mail back to you saying thank you for reporting this player, we're looking into their account. I genuinely believe that this does not lead to anywhere because I do not believe that there is a specific department in Embark Studios that sits and looks at manual reports because there's thousands of players, thousands of even more reports.
Right.
But people saying, "Oh, I reported three people and then I got my kit back a week later." I'm gonna keep reporting people. It doesn't work like that. The reports
Okay.
don't like sort of accumulate and then someone sits in the studio and goes, okay, I'm looking at this person and he's got 5,000 reports. Because if that was the case, I had 30,000 knocks and 20,000 of them was shot through smokes. The report system, I don't believe you reporting them. I mean, it's nice to do it. You feel better about yourself. You think that they might get banned. They might get banned, but it's not the solely based like reason why cheaters get banned.
To close this one topic specifically, I will just ask you a yes or no question. So, based on everything that you just said, and based on the facts that there are 16 million copies of the game sold with the Chinese version or the Chinese license being sold, there's a lot of money in ARC Raiders. Do you believe at the end of the day, based on everything that you just said and what I said, is it a money grab or money catch, money grab?
Yeah, I do. I do believe it's a money grab. Yes.
Right. So they have resources and they are not just putting them towards the anti cheat.
Yeah, they are
Hmm.
putting it in everything but what the game needs, essentially. Yes.
You showed me something really interesting that blew my mind, and it was actually two things. The
hmm
first thing was auto join lobby feature that you have in your system. Can you tell me what it does?
I developed a tool which is an auto join tool or auto join lobby tool, which basically either you have the game code in the bottom right corner or you have their Embark ID. You can enter them into their respected boxes. You click auto join, it will find which map they're on, which server that they are on, and you just need one of the Embark ID, which is their username and the four numbers at the end, and it will load you in.
Essentially, you can join with 100% accuracy any game that a streamer is playing and stream snipe him.
Yeah, any active game, yes.
That's crazy. I'm just shaking my head here. And now let's talk about the cherry on the top. You you showed me something that was really hard to believe. If somebody told me that someone developed this tool and it is out there, I would not believe them. So just tell the viewers what it
So,
is.
so essentially, it's the unban account tool. Uh, it's we are the only ones who have the tool. I released it 2 weeks ago when there was a massive ban wave.
It's a one
hmm
window or one field entry, Embark ID, you click unban and the profile is unbanned.
Yeah, they are unbanned. Yes, it's very straightforward. If we talk about statistics, there's over 2,000 players have been banned. The ones that have requested it. Every day we get about like 30 or 40 DMs asking for their accounts unbanned.
How much for the unban?
The unban tool is $20, and yeah, it can unban any account on Steam, Epic, or Xbox.
The unbanned player is probably my favorite take and the best take from this interview. How is it even possible? Explain it to me, please. How do you even create this unbanned tool or the stream sniping tool? Is it
So the
again
streams,
like is that something just we already talked about, like the Embark's code sucks?
yeah. So the reverse engineering and the injection methods was more essentially for the auto join lobby, and the unban tool. I don't want to go too much into essentially um, who or what, but a developer's account was compromised, which obviously they have access to unbanning players. So we are able
Admin
to
console.
unban, yeah, an admin console, so we're unable to ban it from their account.
Moving on, do you believe if Embark hired you, you could fix the cheating problem with the game?
I definitely would have a better chance than what the current anti-cheat measures that they've implemented are doing for sure. I think the anti-cheat would have to be reworked. We would have to add a better sort of anti-cheat system. I think the reporting system in the game, you'd have a specific department reviewing multiple cases, like looking at if one player is getting reported once or twice every game or every 2 games rather than one player who gets reported every 10 games. Like there's a traffic light system like red, yellow, green. Do you know what I mean?
Right?
Like
Yep.
implementing, because this is the biggest issue that Arc Raiders has. They never really focused on the cheating problem, and as you can see now, the cheating problem has exploded.
So you believe your skills could reduce the cheaters by, let's say, how many? 60, 70, 80% in the game?
100%, 100%. We would be able to eradicate a lot. Yeah, yeah, 60 to 80% of cheaters we would be able to. Yes.
You said it yourself, Embark is preparing 2 new games. Do you believe the loop will replicate? It will be the same problem?
I mean, if we look at the past histories and patterns, which is usually a good indicator, we see what they did in the finals. They made the game, they made the money, and they moved on to Arc Raiders. So, if we're going to look at patterns as a gaming studio, I'm 100% guaranteeing you that they are probably going to do the same thing in the next 2 game projects. Yeah.
So do you wish Embark would see this video?
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that they're not going to see the video. I'm sure that people are going to reach out to Embark through the official channels like
Right?
Twitter and Discord. Embark have a pretty sort of active engagement in the official
Community.
Arc Raiders
Yep.
Discord community. Yeah, um, so I'm sure people or your viewers will send this to them and let them know. So yeah, hopefully they do watch the video and they take notes, because they've ruined one of the best video games that have been released in the last 10 years.
In my previous video, I bought account for $5. I loaded into an account and it was an actual used account. It was nearly max level with a lot of stash value, a lot of items, a lot of stuff in it, bought skins.
Mhm.
So somebody was probably playing it. Maybe the account was sold, but I think maybe these accounts are being stolen. So where do these accounts come from actually?
Essentially, they are stolen through Discord. Sometimes your friend might get hacked on Discord and he will send you a link, or he'll send you like images to click on, and they obviously they're friends with this person, so they might be silly enough to believe that this friend is sending them it. So when they click on the link, they start to lose access to their Steam account. So this Steam account is then sold online uh, in bulk, which is around 50 cents for an account. Yeah, and then they're resold for online for like 5, 10, 15, 20, up to $50 based on like the Steam level and the amount of games.
That's a 10 times the margin.
Yeah, yeah, it is essentially. Yeah.
That's a crazy
Yeah.
number. The topic of security and about everything concerning around cheats. When I paid for the one-time entry to like another Discord community, I paid with my credit card, and then later there were some like unauthorized requests on the card. I actually had to go and cancel it. What is the biggest mistake players make when downloading cheats, and is it dangerous?
I think I mean, cheats are essentially they are within cheats are not dangerous, so to speak, to answer your question like on the head, but it depends on where you are getting them from. Now, if you see somewhere that's promoting it for free, for example, I would never trust that, because there's nothing free in life. So that's probably a dangerous sort of cheat. That's dangerous to your computer. Now, any cheat that you download is coming in an exe file, which is the loader, which is going to essentially inject into your computer. And these exe files are always going to be flagged up by the antivirus. Now, in order for you to successfully inject into your computer, which allows you to cheat in the game, you have to turn off your antivirus, you have to turn off the TPM BIOS, sometimes you have to turn off your Windows Defender. So you are basically making your computer vulnerable in order for the cheat to work, which is completely normal in sort of the aspect of the cheat working on your computer. But then it comes into practice, like who is selling you the cheat? Do they have
Right.
reviews? Have they been around? Like it depends on, like, you need to take into factors that it's like buying a car. You don't just buy a car from looking at it. You need to
Yeah,
do your
for sure.
research.
So you actually need to be a good provider that is
Hmm.
that like your cheat is safe to use so it doesn't leak your information to have like
Of course.
proper customers, right? Otherwise it's a scam practice. And when it comes to this world of cheat developers, you actually need to be in sort of like position to be trustworthy still,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. So in terms of following up on your question, yeah, in terms of the cheating atmosphere or the cheating community, as developers we're always like helping each other, looking after each other, and we're calling out any sort of bad practices like that one. And
Ooh.
obviously I'm not sure whom you purchased your cheats from, or but as a community of developers we would also always frown upon that, and we would out them from the community, letting people know that this practice or this provider is essentially scamming their members and not doing what they're sort of telling people that they are doing, because there's an already a sort of bad image around cheating, and
Yep.
it does not need to be further added on, that is even worse, like the sort of image that's already painted on us. So that we do have boundaries, and we do have sort of like a conduct that,
Mm.
because essentially by them doing that, it's just going to either make that person talk about it or tell his friends, which is going to
Yeah,
be less business for
it's
us.
hurting the market.
It's hurting the market just because of one person's stupidity or greed, for sure.
Talking about security, maybe let's talk a little bit more about your life. Let's say you as a cheat developer, um, can we call it like destroying the games, like quote
Yeah.
unquote? Aren't you scared yourself, like for your living situation, somebody could leak your information? Are you breaking some terms or conditions of services of these games? Where do you stand on this?
I think in terms of the games, terms of service, obviously when you download the game and you register an account, you do click on the terms of service, which is essentially telling you not to use third-party softwares or cheating programs. And obviously, you click yes, you agree, because if you don't click it, you won't be able to play. So in terms of that, yes, you are breaking the terms of service. Yes, you are breaking the sort of rules that they've put in place. But if you were talking about an international level, well, international levels, there are different laws depending on, um, what is ethically allowed and what's not ethically allowed. And there's gray areas, particularly in sort of a lot of Western countries. So in terms of myself, I do not see myself. Uh, I don't see any big problem, to be honest with you. It's just another day, essentially. Yeah.
I will not use any more of your time, but final question. And I think we already talked about this, but again, if you had 1 minute to speak directly to Embark's developers and they promise to listen, what would you tell them?
I would say, Osin, you ruined the game. I think you need to be fired from the Embark development team. I think Embark need to prioritize the cheating problem in Arc Raiders to save the player base, essentially, and also stop cheat developers making a lot of money from your game. I think you need to also put in more money in the department for content, and not keep leaving it for every 6 months for a major update. They want new guns, they want new arc, they want new maps, they want new map conditions, they want new quests to grind for. They want a sort of leaderboard, PvP leaderboard. Like maybe like every week it resets. This person killed 3,000 players. This player killed 1,000 matriarch. Like they want leaderboards, something to grind for. There needs to be more incentives to playing the game apart from, either being in a PvE lobby, running around with a guitar, talking to every player that you meet, or running around in a PvP lobby where there's 80 or 90% of the players are cheating, and it's just who's the better cheater, which is the current situation. So Embark, fix your game. Fire Ozin, thank you.
Wow, that's a really, really strong statement. But still, words from your mouth, I will include that in the video.
Mhm,
And again, Kenny, it's been absolute pleasure. Opinions aside, um, that's how the game is right now. I'm just trying to bring a little bit more light to the situation, a little bit more light also for the viewers, for the players to understand, because players still believe, players still hope, and we still
mhm,
hope that the things will get better.
mhm,
And this is the commentary from you, and I'm really thankful again for your time, for everything that you shared with me, and
mhm,
that's pretty much it. You will probably have some comments on the video for yourself
mhm.
from the viewers, so feel free to have any interaction with those people. And yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John, for your time once again. And like I said before, raising awareness is not a bad thing. People need to start talking about it. Now, we need to push for the cheating problem and raise a lot of awareness around it. It can only go two ways. Either the situation gets better or it gets worse, and that all resolves around Embark Studios as a company. They decide which way it goes. But the only thing we can do as a player base is just raise awareness, which is what you're doing, and you are one of the first to do it. And I appreciate your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate all the viewers' times for tuning in and watching this whole sort of interview podcast sort of thing. So yeah, thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Kenny. I think that's going to be it for the recording. And so that is part two. While I was researching, recording, and editing this video, even more happened in our creators. Kenny showed me what he claims are some of their most recent tools, including a spinbot, a system that identifies and marks every player in the lobby for the entire team, and another tool that can allegedly freeze a player in a place. Without dragging this out any further, I want to double down on my message from the first video, which is the cheats in our creators are out of control. Whether there will be part 3 is now partly in Embark's hands. I have reached out to them, and I would genuinely like my next interview to be with someone from Embark so they can respond to all of these claims made throughout this investigation and explain what is being done about the overall situation. So please, help this message reach them by sharing the video and discussing the issue responsibly. The more attention we bring to problems like this, the greater the chance that the next game we pay $40 for does not lose the trust of its community within 6 months. That does not mean spamming or harassing anyone. Please do not message bomb Embark, its developers, or individual employees. Keep the discussion civil, respectful, and focused on the problem. Thank you very much for staying with me throughout this investigation, and if you would like to support the channel and help fund future investigations, you can find my super cool t-shirts in the descriptions or in the comment. I will pin it, or you can consider becoming a channel member through YouTube membership. With that, I'll see you maybe in the next one. John Raider, out.